Afternoon, Jules here from Joolsedesigns and JT Creations. Welcome to my channel. So we've got another take and create, and what we've got is we've got a file folder, a tag, and we've got 3 journal cards to go in the file folder. Now it's Lily of the Valley. It's a grungy kind of a theme, with lots of book pages and things like that on. So with the magic of editing, I'm going to go away and I'm going to cut these out. I've actually printed 2 off. I don't know why I printed 2 off. I must have printed it off and then printed it off again. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so that's me, I'm back. So I've cut them both out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ink round them, and if you're anything like me and you don't cut even with a trimmer, you can either trim it back off like that. You can see it was just a tiny little bit, or you can just throw my scissors on the floor. You can ink round it, but that's what I'm going to do anyway. I'm going to ink round it. I'm going to use Scotch Timber, the Distress ink, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so what I've done is I've done that one in Scotch Timber. This one I'm going to do in a lighter colour, because what I've decided to do, because I've done 2, I'm going to do one grungy and one with lace and very shabby chic and boho. So I'm using the tea dye. Yeah, it's still got a tiny bit of Scotch Timber on there, but it's still not as dark as that, which is fine. The only time I have different blenders is when I use a totally different colour, but for all my browns I use the one. Okay, so that's that. So we'll just put that to one side. So I think what we'll do is we'll work on the grungy one first. And what I need is I need my oops. I'm going to put this one on the end one because I can gauge it better, unless I've got a middle. No, see, it's just off. Right, I'll do it on this one. So you've got a white line in the middle, which shows you where to crease. And once you've creased it, And we'll just take the edges in here as well. This is going to be closed up. Now I haven't decided whether I'm going to, sometimes when I do these I fix like a little hinge round. As you can see, they do fit in, but it is quite a thin line, so I could stitch them. I might do that one on the shabby one, but this one I'm not going to, and that fits right in there. If you want to put the tag in or create a pocket, I'm not quite sure whether I want to do that yet, and you can put tabs and things like that on these. So what I'm wanting is I'm wanting a number. Just looking at my stamps, and these I got from Temu. Just looking for a number. That one will do nice. Number 2579. And just put that on there. And I'm going to use Memento's Espresso Truffle just to stamp that. And there we are. So there we've got our number. And is there anything else on there that I want? I might try the post one, but I don't want it as dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to, I'm going to try that's upside down. I'm going to try the walnut stain first and just see what that looks like. Not dark enough, so we'll put that one back and we'll go to Scotch Timber. I'm not going to go over that one, I'm just going to do one at the side here, and there you can see that's a little bit darker. And then we'll take this one. I think this is a date. And there we are. And I like to collage stamp on my bits and pieces. Now this Take and Create, it'll work on its own, as you can see, but you can also stamp on it and just enhance it a little bit more. We'll do a little bit on this envelope down here. I think we'll try the fancy date. And we'll go here like that. Yep. And I think that's enough for that paper. I've got some scrap card here, and this is actually off the fairy. So all I do is I just turn it round like that. That's enough. And I want another one, so I'm just there. And then I'm going to ink round it. And we'll have a little bit more on here. and I'm not particularly, it's going over, that's fine. And then what I want is I want some and I'm just using the small ones. They're both the same. Yep. And then what I usually do, oh, I want a little bit more on here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the front on first, because that's the front that I want the split pin on. If you wanted, and I'm just eyeballing this so it looks equal. Now I didn't intend to do that. Let me have a look. Yeah, it's equal. And what I do is I open it up. I'll get my foam, and what I want is I want to make a hole in there and a hole in there for the split pin. The split pin you don't have to have. All I've done it for is it's decoration more than anything. And I'm just guessing or eyeballing the center. You'll have to excuse my nails, they're needing painted again. They're just, I've been using that Fabri-Tac again. It just removes your nail varnish. Alright, and there we are. And I could do the same on the back, but I'm not going to. But what I will do is we'll put something on the back. But how cool does that look? It looks really, really good. And what I want is I want a little bit of tape, because obviously if you're going to put anything in there, it'll catch. So what I'm using some Santoro when I can get it out. This is just a bit of Santoro washi tape from when I worked for Do Crafts. And I'm just gently putting that down, turn it over and just press it down. Probably be better off with a get that out. And there you can see that's quite flat. If you press it down, it'll just wrinkle around because it's not level, but when you turn it the other way, flat upside down, it's level. So you just gently put that over, making sure it's touching, turn it over, press it down, and that's all equal. You're not trying to get over that big bobble. And there we are. And then we there You could put a sequin. I think I've got some rusty looking sequins. Or what you can do is you can make your own, not sequins, but you can do your little circles. So what have I got? I've got that one. That's probably, so I've got a hole punch. So you can do, in fact, what I'll do is I'll do one that's a little bit bigger. Where's my bigger one? So this is a bigger one, so we'll do the hole punch. We'll bring on our and there we've got them, and then you can ink over them. So I'm just you can use, you know, perfect pearls and things like that on them. I've got some, oops, got some of these. I think we'll use this. So this is the metallic gilding polish. You can use gilding waxes. By Creative Expressions. I don't know whether I can get it open. Yes. And these are years old, and I have refreshed them a few times by putting boiling water in them. And this is metallic, and it's like a metallic bronze, so I'm just putting a little bit on there. Just and I'm just using an eye makeup applicator just to apply it. And then what I want is a ball tool, and then you can do a proper beveled, rounded. You know, can you remember the, oh, what did they call it? Candy fodder or whatever it was that everybody was buying, and it was like beveled circles. Well, basically that's what that is. And then just put your, and it doesn't matter if it squashes. And what I'm doing is I'm just putting a tiny bit of glue on there to pick it up. Tiny bit of glue on there to pick it up. Just pressing it down a bit. And the glue has now attached that. So there you've got, so you've got your split pins there. Don't know whether you can see them. And then when you turn it over, you've got that card fodder or card candy. Oh, I can't remember what they're called. They used to sell it at all the craft shows. And because it's had a metallic, once that dries, you can kind of rub over it and it goes even shinier. So it actually looks as though you've got split pins in there as well. And there we've got our cards will fit in there brilliantly. And then you've got your journaling space on the back. So So what we want to do is we want to I'm going to do it that way, so it doesn't really matter. Now that's the one I normally use for the wider lines, and I'll show you what I mean. All I do is I stamp down it. It doesn't matter if these aren't perfect. It just gives you, yeah. But what I did do was I took the back off, which is a smaller corrugation. Maybe it's too small, but I'll show you what it looks like. You probably need to be on. Nah, that's not good, but we'll just leave it. It's fine. I'll keep doing this one because this is kind of the one that is about right. But you can use like all your different bits of cardboard, and I always have one lying about somewhere, and when it gets too squished I then use it as ephemera. I think we'll go over this one again with that one. And sometimes I use the lid. And there we are. Just pop that back on there. So there we've got our and when you do, you know, just fix it on like that, it's easier to sort of like put your cards in so that they're fanned out, so that they're displayed. If you want them, you know, just put them in the right way. But yeah, I think we might put that one in like that and have those two fanned out like that. And does that not look pretty? And it looks lovely in a journal. And then we've got our tag. And I'm going to bring my, I'm not going to use ground scotch timber. I'm going to use gathered twig in the distress. And I'm starting off, gathered twig's a little bit brown here, so I'm just gently, because I don't want circles on this one. So I'm just starting off on the paper and then just slowly bringing it in a curved motion. Again, this one's going up straight. And I'm going in a curved, and I'm going around the corners. I just sort of like curve it like that. And there we are. And then I think we might put some numbers on it. I'd say it's Portugal. I don't want Portugal on it. We'll do this one. I'm going to try the gathered twig. I think it might not be dark enough, and we'll change it if it's not. But it, there we are. No, it's definitely dark enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some numbers all the way around, so I'm just picking them out randomly. Do that one that way. We'll do this one. That way. I'm not even looking to see if they're the right way. I don't think it matters. And we've got something in a number in brackets here. So I think we'll turn that round and we'll have the number the right way, I think. We've got another one in brackets, another number. That one up that way. That one up that way. That one's not stamped perfectly, but it's fine. That one will go there. What's this one? This one says half a p, half the old pence and the old imperial money. And I think we'll have this one. I think this is something to do, no, it's a date. And then what we'll do is we'll cover in with some secondary stamping, so just gently just pop it on like that. Just gently over there, and I think that's enough. And we'll put that lid on there. And I think what we might do is put a little bit of book page. Right, just gonna rip this down. This is just gonna rip this. We'll have that there. So I'm going to ink the edges. This is very, very dark German book page. It's actually an old Bible that was totally dilapidated, but absolutely beautiful font. It was half eaten with bookworm. I think we'll have that one there. And do I want a little bit down here? Yep. So again, I'm just reloading my and you can add whatever you want onto these tags or keep it as it is. And then just ink around the edges. Quite like that. And I'm just looking at what else I could put on. I'm going to have a grommet in it anyway, so I'll get the crocodile out. And I'm using the 3/16, and I'm just guessing the middle, and want to so I'm going to have a ring on this, so because I want it upside down, what I usually do is I put the grommet in, just place a little bit of glue just so it holds it, put my ring on, and then do that, and there I get a perfect. And I'll double it. That through there. And then what I usually do is I just take the and we just tease the threads just to I always like it when it looks as if it's been frayed. Always looks nicer, and then we can just cut that down a bit. And there we are. So we've got our two. And if you wanted, you could put a bigger focal point on there. I'm just using that, although it's now in the background, but I quite like that idea. So that's the grungy side of it. Decide what lace I want to use on this. I like this one. And what I was thinking at one point was doing the lace and actually stitch the lace on. I quite like that, so I'm just going to have a look and see what it looks like. Quite like that. So I think we'll have that. So I'm just going to trim up there and we can put them out the way. And trim up there and put that out the way. So we've got cream, and this is kind of a taupe colour. I think we're just going to have that hanging off like that. So we'll get the trim it. Let me see where it goes. That's that. Just pull that down a little bit. And then pop it in. Let me have a look at that. See, what I could have done was done a wider one and glued that round there, but I'm not going to. And this. Putting it a little bit thicker on there. And just make sure when you're putting lace down, there's usually always a back and a front. However, sometimes there isn't, and it doesn't matter which side you glue down. And then what I'm doing is I'm just trimming up the sides. Just straighten that a bit because it's starting to go in a curve. And we'll keep them bits for whatever. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away and I'm going to stitch round all of these cards. I think I'm going to put a bit of lace on them because I think I'm going to actually have these out that way so we can put lace on this side. Now I'm looking at this lace and what I like about this is you can cut this lace in half, but give me 2 seconds, I just want to have a look at some of the lace. I'm going to have a look at this. So if we had that there and that there, Right, so I'm just going to trim. Just going to do 3 because I'm definitely going to have this lace, I've decided. And cut 3 pieces of this off. So my youngest son passed his driving test today. He took it with the army. He's in the Navy, but he took it with the army. My other boy passed his test with the army, but that was about 20 years ago. So I'm so pleased. I've been sat in the car with him for the last couple of weeks. He bought a car. Now he can go off on his own. Remove the L plates. Okay. So I think on that one, I'm going to have the lace there and there. Whoops. On this one, I'm going to have the lace there and there. And on this one, I'm going to have the lace there and there. So I am going to stitch it down. I've stitched round it, and I've stitched round these and these, and you can see it's gold stitch, and I've done mixture of zigzag, and it's these are the edges are kind of floppy, which is fine because that's what I'm looking for. Put that in there, and that one in there, and the tag I stitched down, but I started putting some vellum on it before I switched my camera back on. So this was just a bit of ripped vellum. It's actually it's Christmassy, but you can't make it out. Just a little bit too. I think that one. Yep. And I'm just going to cut that up there. Don't know whether this will cut. Yep. So I'll use my Trim It's glue. Now when you're using glue on vellum, it tends to wrinkle, but because it's getting covered with the lace, it's fine. And I'm just placing it on. So there we've got that, and I think what we might do is we might pop one of them in there like that. So we've got 2 in there, and I think we'll do a grommet in the top. Again, I'm using the 3/16. I'm just eyeballing it. Let's see. I'm going to use a gold one, I think. Again, these aren't memory keepers. I get them on Amazon. The name begins with a D, but I can't remember. And I think we'll have cream ribbon. Or should we have gold ribbon? No, I think we'll have the cream ribbon. And it's satin on both sides. It's kind of a thick ribbon I get from the local haberdashery shop. And I'm just going to tie this in a knot. I like to tie my ribbon in a knot so it goes, and I tie it in the front so it looks, ties like similar to a bow. And so we've got these, the grungy ones. And you can see we've put book page on and we've stamped it. And these we did kind of a shabby chic boho type effect from the exact same things. So just because they look grungy doesn't mean to say you have to keep them grungy. That's very lacy and ribbony and stitches. This one's kind of industrial stamps, and these are hard now. And they just look like, and you can see there's like marks now where the glue's dried underneath. And there we are. So that is the Take and Create. So it's available on my Ko-fi shop. The link is underneath the video in the description. You just look at the description and go to more and look under, and the link will be there. And it's under in the shop under the heading of Take and Create. And you'll see there's other ones there as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you'll join me again. And if you want to know more, that I have a Facebook group. It's Junk Journals at JT Creations. I do put more freebies on there that aren't on my Ko-fi shop. But I will see you in the next video. Bye.